After 10 years, My Hero Academia has come to an end, and a lot of fans are angry. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. You're watching the channel Dr. Applesauce. My name's Will. It's another beautiful day here in Texas. I hope you guys know that I love you, God loves you, and there is an awesome plan for your life. That's right, My Hero Academia is finally over, and something that I'm seeing all over the internet is that weebs are angry. Really, should I be surprised about this? Because weebs are always going to be angry about something. A lot of fans of My Hero Academia are not happy with the way the manga ended. Guys, let me know down in the comments below, what did you think about the ending of My Hero Academia? Did you enjoy it? Did you think it was okay? Or were you really upset with it? Let me know down in the comments below. And for all of you anime only, or if you haven't finished the manga, this is your spoiler warning. We are going to be doing massive spoilers about the ending of My Hero Academia in this video. So if you're anime only, this is your warning. One of the more common complaints that I see about the ending of My Hero Academia is that Deku lost his powers after everything that they went through, after everything that Deku went through in order to become a master of One for All. He lost his powers, and people are upset with that, and I can kind of understand that. People are like, this isn't right that he lost his powers after everything they went through, or he was only able to have, powers and a good quirk for about a year or two. And my opinion on that is, yes, Deku, he doesn't have powers anymore, but he didn't lose his powers. Deku gave up his powers. He intentionally gave up his powers in order to defeat All for One. And the interesting thing is the entire point of One for All was to be the counter, to be the thing that defeated All for One. And that's exactly what happened. So I think that was a very fitting end, and that was exactly what should have happened. Kind of tied that whole little story of All for One versus One for All up into a nice little bow. The next one is kind of tied into that complaint of Deku losing his powers, and it's that there was a big time skip with Deku not being a hero that whole time. There is an 8-year time skip at the very last chapter of My Hero Academia, and we see 8 years into the future after the final battle, so that Deku was 17 at that time, so now he's 25, still pretty young, and now he is a teacher at UA. And there's a bunch of people that are upset with this specific development because it's too long of a time skip. How did they go 8 whole years? Deku's friends never paid attention to him in that 8 whole years, and there's a lot in that I'm not seeing how people are gleaning that information. The last chapter clearly goes over that within that 8 years, Deku has had some contact and communication with various members of his class 1A. So the whole 8-year thing, I'm not sure why that's such a big deal for people. And also, what's wrong with him becoming a teacher? A lot of people thought that he should be a police officer. So one of my best friends thought that it would be cool if he became a police officer. But him being a teacher is actually kind of great, because in that year that he had One for All, and he became the world's greatest hero and defeated Shigaraki, he learned a lot. And the whole thing about Deku is he is a hero at heart. So who would be a better person to be a teacher in the hero course at UA than Deku? So I think it was really fitting that Deku became a teacher. Additionally, Deku is okay with having lost his powers. At heart, Deku is a hero, and it even says in the last chapter that even if he can't have powers anymore, if he can use all of his experiences to help people and help people learn, then it's all worth it, and it's kind of cool that he's actually able to do that. And I think the entire theme and the crux of My Hero Academia's story as a whole is that you don't have to have superpowers to be a hero. The entire thing is a motivation that anybody can be a hero. All you need is the heart of a hero. All you need is the willingness and the desire to help people and want to be a hero to other people, because Deku didn't have any powers. And that's the whole theme through the whole thing, is about anybody can rise up to be better and to be a better version of themselves and to help others. And I think it ended that very well, saying exactly that. Another big complaint that I've seen that I really disagree with is the complaint that Hero Society hasn't changed at all, or hasn't learned at all from what happened in the final war arc. Basically, Hero Society isn't set up to support or even really deal with people that have quirks that aren't acceptable to society, for people that have quirks that are weird, like Toga's blood-sucking quirk and like Shigaraki's decay quirk. And that cultivated an environment where people basically didn't have a choice but to become become villains because they were so shunned and so hated by society. I've seen complaints saying that this final chapter doesn't really address that, and it doesn't show how hero society has changed at all, and I think that's absolutely not true. And I believe it was the second to last chapter, we see a small little snippet of a character who has some type of a quirk that people don't like, and this character gets shoved into the basement and basically abused and locked up for their whole life and just forgotten about, and then randomly released one day when they think the world's about to end because of the final war, but then the world doesn't end, so now you have this scared child walking around not sure what to do, and he is, or she, it doesn't really clear if it's a boy or a girl, comes into contact with an old lady, and this old lady remembers a time that she didn't help somebody, and she remembers what all of the heroes did and how the heroes helped other people. And this old lady reaches out to this poor kid who's been abused their whole life and has a power and a quirk that people don't understand, and says, "Don't worry, I'm here for you. I'm here to help you." That shows that society is changing. That shows that hero society is growing and maturing and has acknowledged their shortcomings by showing a small microcosm of one character that decided to do that. And then if you fast forward to the final chapter, you see little snippets basically saying that the emergence of villains is getting lower and lower and lower every day, and only the most powerful people can become heroes now because hero society doesn't need as many heroes. These are little things that show that hero society is growing and adjusting, and I think it's the perfect way for Horikoshi to just subtly hint to the fact that these elements are actually changing, and this change has actually been put into effect. Another complaint is that Deku and Ochako didn't end up together. Horikoshi does not make it clear if Deku and Ochako end up together. Actually, he actually makes it clear that nobody is together, that Deku and Ochako are not together. And there's a lot of things that happen throughout the manga that show that Deku and Ochako care about each other. Ochako even says that she fell in love with Deku at one point. Toga realizes that Ochako's in love with Deku at one point. Deku shows that he cares about Ochako many times. And so I honestly wanted there to be this nice little wrap up that shows, Deku and Ochako married or whatever, but that didn't happen. And Horikoshi had said a few times that he wasn't going to do anything like that. And then from that stemmed a bunch of rumors that Bakugo is with Ochako and a bunch of crap like this. There's nothing that is actually supporting that. And I think it's okay. If Horikoshi decided that he didn't want Deku and Ochako to end up together, that's all right. It's not bad. It's not good. It could have just been a little high school thing. How many of y'all out there are like me in your 30s, late 30s, and remember people in high school that you thought you were crazy about, but now that you grow up, you don't even really remember who they are or what they were like. You grow up as you get older. High school little romances and things like that don't always turn out to be what happens in the real world, and I think that's what Horikoshi was showing here. There's also been a lot of people complaining that Deku was lying at the beginning of the story, saying, "This is the story how I became the greatest hero in the world." And then at the end of the story, he's not a hero anymore. And people are like, well, that's lying on Horikoshi's part. That was bad story writing. It didn't come out that way. And this is probably my biggest gripe, because it says at the beginning, Deku says, "This is the story how I became the greatest hero." It doesn't say, "This is the story on how I became the #1 hero in the world." Because during the final war, during the battle with All For One / Shigaraki, when Deku was fighting Shigaraki, Deku was the greatest and the strongest hero in the world at that time. Nobody else could defeat Shigaraki. Bunch of the top heroes, Mirko, Best Genius, Edgeshot, went up against Shigaraki, defeated. The big three from UA Academy, Mirio, Nejiri Hado, and Sun Eater, went up against Shigaraki, defeated. Bakugo went up against Shigaraki, almost died. Nobody could defeat Shigaraki, but Deku defeated Shigaraki, meaning at that moment, in that battle, for that time, Deku was indeed the greatest hero in the world, fulfilling what was said at the beginning of the story. Nothing was ever said about Deku being the #1 hero. Nothing was ever said about Deku staying the greatest hero. It said how I became the greatest hero in the world, which he did. Now maybe he's not anymore, but he did accomplish that feat of becoming the greatest hero in the world. Now, there's always going to be complaints. People saying that My Hero Academia ended bad. Does anybody remember when Attack on Titan ended and a ton of people were up in arms saying this is a horrible ending, this was awful, and and then the anime came out and people were like, actually, that wasn't that bad. The ending wasn't very bad at all. I didn't mind that. That's exactly what's happening here with My Hero Academia. And the fact that Deku didn't have powers for 8 years, but then we get that little bit at the end showing that All Might has been working together with Mei Hatsume, funded by all of his former UA friends and Bakugo, to basically build him a mech armor suit so that he can go be a hero again, is beautiful. I absolutely love that idea. We also see this beautiful time where Deku runs into the kid Dai, who's wanting to go into UA Academy to be a hero, but has a weird quirk that doesn't really seem like he could be a hero. And you get this beautiful redemptive moment where Deku realizes and remembers him asking All Might, do you think I can be a hero? And now he's here 8 years, 9 years later with this kid asking him, hey, do you think I could be a hero? What a beautiful moment in that story. I absolutely love that. That was one of my favorite moments of the last chapter, but it just shows how all of this is getting wrapped up and put together. And then we get that moment where Deku does get this mech suit where he basically becomes Iron Man. And then there's a call for heroes to go help a bunch of people that are stuck and needing help. And then you see all of the heroes rushing off to do this in the last frame. And something interesting is you do see Aoyama off there, off to the side, who was the traitor from the UA arc, who he becomes a hero. How cool is that? More redemption, right? More redemption. You see them going off, and Deku has his new hero battle suit on, and it just kind of leaves you at that. And I'm wondering, and it leaves me getting feels of Naruto Shippuden vibes. You know what Horikoshi did? He left it wide open for something else to come in the future. Does that mean something's going to come in the future? I don't know. But he left it open. I've been saying this whole time, how cool would it be if My Hero Academia ends and we get the Naruto Shippuden treatment where later on we get essentially a new show, but it's a time skip. So maybe we get something, 10 years down the line where now Deku is All Might's age and it's a darker, grittier, he's actually a hero in the mech suit now, and we have all this going on. Horikoshi left it open for that. He left it open. But at the end of the day, he's the mangaka. He gets to decide how it ends. Weebs are always going to be happy and sad about various things, but we don't get to tell the mangaka how the story ends. The mangaka makes the story and ends it the way he wants to, and I think it ended well. Were there things that I would have rather seen? Sure, but I like the way it ended. I love the story of how anybody can be a hero, and just the way Horikoshi brings it back full circle this whole time and wraps it all up. I really, really enjoyed it. So will we be getting a My Hero Academia Shippuden treatment? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments below. What do you think? I want to know your opinions. Drop those comments down below, my friends. If you enjoyed this one, give the video a thumbs up. It's free, and it's a great way for you to support me and the channel. You can subscribe, hit those notification bells, all that. And YouTube says you'll like this one right there too, so go watch that one. And like I always say, find somebody to love and serve today. Be the change you want to see in the world. See you next time.